All right, in chapter 10, we're going to talk about prophecy, and it's a common word in the church, but sometimes it's not so common for people to actually fully comprehend what that means or what a prophet is. And so let's just break it down real quick. Um, a prophet in the Old Testament was one of a few things. So the prophet's call comes via a supernatural revelation experience from God. So Moses is a prophet, just as an example. A prophet, as he notes here on page 260, they're no longer in control of their own destinies, but they belong completely to Yahweh. And so a lot of times, even in today's age, we see people who claim to be prophets, and but it's very easy to declare that they're not a prophet because oftentimes they're doing things for their own personal gain, and it's not of God, because you can see that they're not completely denying themselves, and their prophecies are not biblically accurate either. A prophet is a messenger from God sent to call the people back to their covenant relationship with Yahweh. So, for example, as I mentioned before, Moses, he brings his people back. That is another kind of, not a form of a prophet, but it's just a different, it's a different type of relationship. It's not God just saying, here, tell these people this. He did that, but he also called him to do very specific things to bring his people back in relationship with him. And so there's a theme as well with the prophets. Oftentimes, what God reveals to these prophets, God is trying, not trying, God is doing over and over again, giving people messages because he wants to be in relationship with his people. And over and over and over again, his people reject him. And that brings us to the next thing. That's why we have all of the other prophetical things, such as in Micah 5:2, but you, O Bethlehem, are only a small village in Judah, yet a ruler of Israel will come from you, one whose origins are from the distant past. So that's obviously talking about Christ. So we have prophetic visions and revelations from God. That doesn't necessarily make someone, a full prophet like a Moses, but there are prophetic things that are being said that we can connect to. There are hundreds of prophecies, and so one of the amazing things is there's over, I think, 300 different prophecies in Scripture, and Jesus fulfills all of them that we know of, and that's amazing. The chances of one person doing multiple ones is, very, very unlikely, but for him to fulfill all of them, that's affirming in what we know. So we have the prophets, and we have God wanting to be in relationship with his people. And the final part of that is God sending his only Son to to make a way for his people to be with God in unity. And that's essentially the whole point. Yes, we can look up, all the prophets, all the prophetic sayings, and all the different things. We can go through all of those. But the main point of his chapter is that in order to understand Scripture and to dissect it, we have to understand the difference between those things. And we have to fully comprehend that Jesus fulfills those prophets. But there's other things as well. It's not, when people talk prophets, they always talk about Jesus. But there are other things that the prophets did as well. um, but they all connect God and His people together.